Alrighty, we are live. We're coming to you live from not our usual location. This is my mother's guest house. So my mother lives in Bristol. We are flying to Scotland tomorrow morning for a friend's wedding. So we are here live. When I say we, what I really mean is we. And like literally one of the most amazing collection of cookbooks you've ever seen in your life. So we are here live. When I say we, what I really mean is we. And woo, did you actually see how much I just actually nearly pooed myself with fright then? I hadn't realized I'd left the streaming page up, and woo, my nerves. So I'm just gonna get the hub up as well. Make sure we got both streams connected. Woo, wait, I was like, who is this person? So let me know you're here. Kaylee, it's great to have you with us. Very, very good. Okay, fantastic, good. So the hub is there. Let's just bring me back on screen. There we go. All right, good. So how are you guys getting on? We are heading into, we're not, are we? What is it? It's only Thursday. I keep kind of getting ahead of myself because we're heading up to Scotland. So, so yeah, I wish you could see my setup. I've got like my phone, which I'm doing the Facebook Live. Hello, Facebook Live. Hello, Hub. It's like gaffer tape to a microwave and to a fridge and to the laptop. So yeah, I hope it'll hold up. And if you do hear a little humming, that's probably the little mini fridge that the computer is held upon. So this is the guest living room and breakfast area. So my mum runs stuff through Airbnb. If you ever need to come and stay in Bristol, come and check out my mum's place. Bex, how are you? Hello, it is good to have you with us. The evening session is about selling. Now, you may have heard that and be like, good God, no. That word which, you know, some people, they have a reaction like, you know, yes, I stabbed your best friend. And, you know, that's the same reaction they get as if you say, oh, this is about selling, right? So, so what does the word selling mean to you? When you hear that, what kind of reaction does it provoke in you? Because, you know, personally, I've been on a real journey with that word for sure. So, you know, I'll be sharing a bit of that as we go through the session. So, yeah, you know, what does that word mean to you? How do you feel about it? Where are you at with it these days? I'm having to kind of do two things like, hey, Hub, hey, Facebook, Hub, Facebook. Cool. But yeah, you know, my intention for this session for you guys is that you come out of the session really with a sense of, hey, this isn't something that is, that, you know, I'm never going to be able to do. This isn't something that's big and scary. Actually, it's something you're probably already doing far more than you know. And actually, by leveraging the things you're already great at, you can take it to the next level. So let me check some of these comments. Awesome. So Nailympia is this weekend. Announcements will be made Monday. So, so Katie, is that the competition that we did the photo shoot for? Or is that something different? So what is Nailympia? That sounds amazing. Is that like the Olympics of nail technicians and designers? Michelle, hello. Sinead, hello. It's very good to have you. The question we are considering is, where are you with selling? What does the word selling provoke in you in terms of emotions, thoughts? Because that is what this session is all about. And about making it effortless, about making you realize, you know, what you know, how easy it can be. Brilliant. Michelle's just called up on last night's session. So Kaylee's saying, is that yeah? So yeah, it's the thing that we did a magazine shoot. Kaylee's like got this amazing design. Basically, you have to keep it super secret. So as soon as Kaylee announces it, I can't wait to share. Kaylee, share the photos in the group, obviously. Super freaking cool what she's done. So really looking forward to seeing you guys' responses to that as well. We've just got a crazy talented. Oh yes, to both. Oh, so it is like the Olympics of nail designers, and it's it's like the photo shoot as well. Awesome. Well, so what events do they have in like the Olympics of nails? Is it like who can do the fastest nails, who can do the best nails, etc.? Honestly, like this journey, you know, this movement we've started, just like it just blows my mind. The level of talent we have, and the things I've discovered about the world, and like the creative elements of the world, as a result of being a part of this group. Like Dave was sharing about, just the whole process of how a wave forms, how surfboards are made. Seb was talking about all these different modulations and amplitudes for his prototype. And then I discovered there's like not just one type of nail. You've got like acrylic and you've got gel nails. Like, it's so amazing that all the stuff we're discovering. So let me check some of these comments. It's a worldwide nail competition in London. All right, mate, this is amazing. So, Kaylee, wishing you massive luck. See, my brother Carl is on the session. One of the things we're going to be mentioning on this session of Brown Selling is about the power of stories. My brother Carl, one of his specialities is stories that heal. So really fantastic at helping build people's well-being. So pleasure to have him with us. Cam, how are you? Cool. So Bex is just easing her way back into the working world. So I'm guessing, Bex, that maybe sales was something that were relatively, you were comfortable with. Now maybe you're thinking you're a bit rusty. So let's see. Nice. So, fantastic. Nice. So you're going to be doing some work at a local gallery, Elise and yourself. Guys, have you seen Elise? Like, just, again, you know when you're looking at a creative soul. So beautiful. That's very exciting, Bex. What better way to ease yourself in than working with some brothers and sisters to get something going? Carl, at the moment, is walking the Camino de Santiago, which is like, I don't know how long it is, what, like 400, no, 800 miles maybe. How long is the Camino? It's this pilgrimage through France and into Spain. Very special thing. So, yeah, Carl is doing that. Big up yourself, brother. If you're on Facebook, I hope you will see me always like this, but my phone has been tending to kind of fall down and do it. So if you see me kind of up here fiddling around, it's because I'm resticking the gaffer tape to make sure the phone stays where it's meant to be. I see Sinead giving some big ups. Okay, when we talk about talent, motherfucker's been playing on Radio 1, bitch. That's crazy, insanely talented. So yeah, this group, when I think of where we can go with things, it's truly amazing. And one of the final sessions we're going to have is going to really help create a board for that. So bring it on, I say. 800 kilometers, wowzers. That is a fair way to walk. So, Carl, brother, I hope you're discovering some wonder about yourself. I've seen you play some music, so keep playing, keep singing your songs for Gaia. All right, let's do this, shall we? Let's do this. So, certainly for me, I used to be a bit of a ninja at sales. I managed a double glazing call center. So it doesn't happen so much these days, but it used to be you'd be sitting at home just about to start your dinner and you get telephone rings. Hi, is that Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Smith, my name's George. I'm calling from Weatherlight Windows. And just wanted to let you know that over the next couple of days, we're going to have a gentleman who's going to be in your area. And he specializes in helping people like yourself, not only to save money, to have a more valuable home and to, you get where we're going with this, right? It got to the point where if you showed the slightest hesitation on the other end of the phone, you basically had a double glazing sales call booked within the next 10 minutes. Oh yeah, Bex was with me in Weatherlight Windows. So this is where we go way back, right? I have to confess that after I stopped being the manager, one of my friends took over and then the company went bust. Nice. So Cam, what's Cam been up to? Cam has been turning down a major business partner because it didn't fit his business purpose. Awesome. And Cam, all I can say is, learning from Harry's business, I've just seen his business keep going up and up and up a level because he keeps picking partners who are aligned with his values. And again, this session we're going to have is going to really help you work through that as well. So that's awesome. So yeah, I used to be awesome at sales. Because ultimately I was selling other people's stuff and I was just doing a job. I'm quite articulate. I enjoy being outgoing. I enjoy a performance essentially. And that was what, for me, selling double glazing was. But when it came to selling my own stuff, I'd find any reason to kind of either undersell myself, give it away for free, and just, avoid the responsibility. And it's still something I am getting better at. I am way better at it because I know I actually give great value. So I'm way better at it now. But it has been a real journey. And so I really want to kind of share with you tonight what I've distilled from being what was I doing well when I was nailing the double glazing sales? Why was I struggling when I was struggling? And, what have I been doing of late? Like in, this whole kind of journey we've been on. being able to really articulate authentically, powerfully, strongly the value I believe I'm going to share and how I'm going to, you know, really serve you guys. Because ultimately that's what selling is. But why is selling important? Aside from the fact it makes us money, right? Selling is, whether we might accept it or not, a core aspect of humanity. Now, I know we've got a few fathers, like mothers on this session, right? Now, let me tell you this, right? When I was just walking up the road with my daughter, and my sister's up, so Auntie Claire and my daughter, and the negotiation, a sales negotiation was happening. And, you know, we were discussing whether or not an ice cream was going to happen. So my daughter was fairly insistent. Her sales technique was basically, I want an ice cream. I want an ice cream. When am I getting an ice cream? I want an ice cream. And our technique was negotiating. Well, listen, we just need to visit a couple more shops and then we'll see if there's going to be an ice cream, right? So we're always selling, like we're always in the process of selling, whether we're trying to be the buyer, as in, you know, negotiating a smaller price, AKA smaller ice cream in this case, or we're the seller. Hey, get me the biggest ice cream. And I'm just going to keep telling you I want an ice cream until I get an ice cream, okay? So we are always selling. And, you know, another reason why it's such a kind of core human aspect, selling, is that selling ultimately is storytelling. It is storytelling. You are, you know, you're taking someone on a journey of saying, hey, you know, as I understand it, this is where you're at. Well, this is where we can get to. And, you know, this is the story of how we can get there. And part of that story will involve you buying in at some point to helping us get to that end goal of where we want to go with the story. So, you know, I think we can all appreciate there's times when we you know, ultimately, what's dating? You know, say I'm trying to date a woman, I'm trying to sell myself as the man, and the woman, I'm hoping she's going to buy into me, right? And it might be vice versa. You know, what is the woman maybe doing if she's going to put some makeup on? She's trying to make the sale seem more attractive, right? If we put it in blunt terms, okay? So selling is a very human thing. And selling is even more human because we are storytelling with selling. And, you know, storytelling is what ultimately one of the things that really makes us human. But fascinating, and this is why I know that we are doing something very special with these sessions, is 2 days ago I was checking out this video by a guy called Peter Corning, who is a biologist, a systems theorist, working in the field. He's an expert in synergy. And synergy, which is kind of creating something that's greater than the sum of its parts, doing more with less. Synergy is a real fascination of mine. I believe, you know, intuitively, I really think there's a science to it. And it's the science that could ultimately save the world, literally, because we can do more with less. We can turn waste into resources, all of this sort of stuff. That is synergy in action. So I was watching this video about Peter Corning, and he was saying that Darwinism really doesn't go far enough. Darwinism explains an element of human evolution, but what it doesn't do is give a sufficient account of human complexity, of the complex systems, social structures, you know, that we've developed. And actually what does account for that is synergy, is a kind of synergy as a driving model of evolution. And Peter Corning said something that just fascinated me. He said that ultimately one of the core social drivers that would have developed the complexity of human social structures was, rather than the random mutations of Darwinism, was in fact entrepreneurship. So when, you know, Grug, who's living in his cave, suddenly he invents something, let's go fire in this case. Grug invents fire, or he works out a way to create fire, having observed lightning or having observed two rocks rubbing together, whatever it might be. Well, Grug's job then, so that this invention can become a widespread benefit to his culture, his community, what Grug then has to do is he has to sell the rest of the community on the benefits of fire. You know, because, you know, maybe Maisie Worry Mouse, the mother of the community, is, oh, it's hot, it burns me. So, you know, she's trying to, you know, she's against this innovation. Grug, you know, says he can see the future. He can see that fire is going to be this amazing thing for human society. So he has to get his entrepreneurial hat on and sell his community on the benefits of this new innovation. So, you know, it really kind of struck me as, wow, this is something that was meant to be shared in this session. that actually selling and entrepreneurship, even before money was involved, but the process of selling someone an idea, getting them to buy into a new innovation, fundamentally is one of the driving elements of some of the most powerful parts of human evolution. So that's why this session is so important, because we're ultimately tapping into one of our core evolutionary forces. Okay. And I've said you're always selling, you know, parent, child, dating, romance, whatever it might be. And why are we always selling? Well, because we are either always sharing stories, and selling is about stories. We are always either, you know, we're also building relationships. Sales in a nutshell is building relationships. Or we are finding out what is needed, or we are fulfilling what is needed. And, you know, those are four core elements of selling: sharing stories, building relationships, finding what is needed, and fulfilling what is needed. And, you know, in life, when are you not doing one of those things? Really think about it. When are you not doing one of those things? You might say, well, when I'm asleep. Are you not fulfilling your need for sleep? It's fundamental human need for sleep. So, you know, we are always selling because we're always either sharing stories, building relationships, finding needs, or fulfilling needs. Okay. And how can this selling process, even though it's something you're already doing, whether money's involved or not, how can it be something that you can do more effortlessly, more powerful, right? More powerfully. Yeah, Cam, you know, great description of teaching, Cam says. Absolutely. Now, and this is where, you know, a great example, because actually what Cam is speaking about as well is at the same time as selling, the process of sales is going through a revolution into the new story from the old story. So are so many other things of which selling is a part. So education, teaching. Education used to be, it wasn't selling. It was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like forcing, basically compelling. It's like, here is the knowledge, learn the knowledge, do the test, pass the test. Now we are realizing that actually the true powerful education process is one where it's like, hey, what do you need? Okay, well, listen, I've got this thing. I think it'll be really great for you, but you know, what do you need to know so that, you know, you can make it great for you? Okay, so we're shifting from this kind of forcing model of selling, of teaching, of education, to a much more kind of giving first, adding value, exploring need, all of these things that are going to be part of a new story selling process. Okay. So what does sales look like in the new story? Well, it is about having a secret sauce. And if you can use this secret sauce, you are going to turn curious people into customers, and customers into supporters, and supporters into raving fans who go out and do your selling for you. Okay. So if you've got the workbook, it is the Secret Supporter Source page, SAUCE. So it's an acronym, or SAUCE. Yeah, 5 elements that really, if you can bring these elements into your sales process, or even just literally your being human process, you're going to find that selling is, you know, becomes a lot easier, a lot more effortless, and, you know, a lot more frequent as well. Okay. So SAUCE. S stands for stories. We've spoken a lot about it already. Why stories? Well, stories allow you to do so much from a sales perspective. They allow you to sell without selling. They allow you to tell without telling, i.e. convey information without saying, here's my information. And they allow you to teach without preaching. So they're like, someone go, oh, you know, you may be the kind of, you know, the teacher is there, learn this, and then the teacher tells a story and the student's like, oh, I get it now. Because, you know, why is that so powerful? Well, because as human beings, we don't like being sold to, especially these days when the world is so connected, so, you know, there's just messages, marketing messages, 24/7, blah, blah, blah. We've got a really low tolerance for being sold to, but we love being told stories. We love being told stories. So, you know, this goes back to, because hopefully when we were kids, at some point, you said, hey, do you want a story? And so we have, you know, we have almost like a kind of genetic predisposition to listen to stories. And in fact, we very much do. Stories are what helped shape our primitive culture. We told stories about, hey, don't eat that snake because it'll kill you. That was a pretty important story, right? And those lessons got passed down through an oral tradition after generation, okay? So that the kind of instructive preaching element was lost, and actually what was left was the story, but the message was still received, okay? So we hate being sold to, we love being told stories. So if you can, if you can articulate the benefits of what you do or the power of what you do by telling a story, then it lands so much more powerfully. So I told the story of Dan, one of my friends, and we had a couple of conversations, and he went from being like a restaurant cleaning company to having one of London's leading CrossFit clothing shop, like retail outlets and retail kind of businesses. And I'm not saying, hey, this is what I can do. What I'm saying, I'm sharing the story of Dan, and hopefully you're thinking, shit, I'd love that story to be mine as well, right? Maybe George might have something that would be useful. So that's the power of stories. And it goes even deeper, because stories allow us to connect with our human emotions. And the power of that is because people buy based on emotions. We like to think we don't. We like to think when we don't buy emotionally, but we do. And if you want a really deeper coverage of this, check out Simon Sinek, his book, Start With Why, or his TED Talk, Start With Why. Really goes into this. Stories connect with the part of our brain that works with emotion. They connect with our heart, which of course works with emotion. And so before we're consciously aware that we've decided to buy something, emotionally, we've decided to buy it. And things like Amazon, they know this. When you've bought something on Amazon, what happens? Oh, people who've bought this also have bought this. And you go, shit, that looks brilliant, right? What am I in? I'm in an emotional state. I've just bought this thing. I'm excited about this thing. And suddenly this thing, to add that to my cart, I'm going to buy that. And before I know it, I spent 40 quid when I was only meaning to spend 8 quid, okay? Has anyone ever done that? And the reason is because we buy an emotion. And there is nothing that stirs emotions like a story, okay? So that's our first element. And guys, this session, I'm going to be nailing through the 5 elements, because it's just, get it done, basically. The invitation is, as you go through, is to just note down, where could you bring this into what you're currently doing or would like to do, okay? And stories are really key, right? So why did we spend 3 or 4 sessions connecting with some of the stories you've told, some of your powerful moments? How are you going to brand yourself? Why do you do what you do? What do you do what you do? How do you want to be known? All of this stuff, because it's all part of bringing out and providing you with stories that you can share that can really connect with emotion and your prospective customers, your prospective supporters. Nice. So yeah, Michelle's saying she loves Amazon for that very fact, right? So when Michelle sold one of her books, she's got a series of 9, 10 books. So fantastic for Michelle. Someone thought, hey, this book on Earth Angels looks pretty exciting. Oh look, there's all these other ones. Yeah, I'll grab a couple of them while I'm at it. Ooh, come on, Gaffer Tape, don't let me down. You've been doing a sterling job so far. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, I might need to crank out some more Gaffer Tape. I think it's the heat. As the phone gets hot, it starts to melt. So good. Fantastic. So that's stories. That is the first element. So stories is the first part of our secret supporter source. Okay. So S, stories. S-A. I've written them down on my notes. I've got you next. All right, cool. So A is add value. Add value. Really massive in this new story. It used to be the case, it was like, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Now it's like, hey, look, let me show you that I can help you by helping you. That's a very famous line from Frank Kern, who we came across with the average day exercise. It is all about, now in the new story, help people first, add value to them first. Let them experience your gifts, your brilliance, so that they're like, oh, this is, I want to work with Cam. I want to work with Bex. I want them to take me forward, to help me. Okay. So here's a kind of something to remember, is that typically before someone decides to buy from you, they will need to have encountered you between 7 to 11 times. That's what they've kind of worked out. 7 is a real minimum. 11 is, kind of the top end. Google did a big study called ZMOT, which was zero moment of truth. Okay, zero moment of truth. And that just means how many times someone has to encounter you online, in print, through word of mouth before they go, oh, I remember that Michelle. Yeah, I've come across her books before. I reckon I'm going to buy one of those. It'll take between 7 and 11 touch points is what they're called. So if at those touch points, could be a blog post, a podcast, just a little Facebook image you share. But if you can be adding value at every single point, well, you're going to reduce the touch points down because people are like, I'm bought in already to this person. But they're going to be like, hey, this person's awesome. Look at all the stuff they've added value to me. They're not going to think twice about buying from you because they already know you, like you, and trust you because you've added value up front. Okay. And, this is why the first stage of the product pyramid that we explored is all about courting. It's about saying, hey, look, I'd love to go on a date with you. I'd love to be in a relationship with you. But, I know I need to prove it to you. So check this out, have this, please, let me know what you think about this. All of this is your kind of courting. It's all about adding value. And, I hope that I modeled this, what I'm sharing with you around the supporter source, fairly well in inviting you to come on this creative ignition journey, to be a part of this creative uprising movement. I sent out an invite personally to each of you, or for those who kind of weren't invited by others into the group. I sent out a personal invite. And in that, I told a bit of the story of like, I've been through some challenges and this is where I'm at and I feel called to create this movement, to create this international play day. I would love you to be involved. Okay. What did I then do as well? Well, I added value. Before I even said, look, before even coming on Creative Ignition on this journey, 30 days, here's these 3 videos and I hope they're going to be really helpful. So, I tried to add value up front in the 3 videos. And based on some of your responses, I hope they added some value, right? So, S is stories. A, add value, okay? And remember the 10% rule, 10% rule. So, if you think it's worth £10, what you're doing, give it away for free. If you think it's worth £100, only charge £10 for it. Because then always, your customer, your supporters will be like, what a great deal. You're adding great value, okay? Cool. So, S is stories. A is add value. U of source is understand needs. Understand needs. And this is pretty much the essence of enterprise. Find what people need and fulfill those needs. That, you don't get a much simpler recipe for doing business. Okay. But so what do we actually mean by this? Let's go a bit deeper into this. Guys, let me just check. Yeah, comment me up. Is this making sense? I know, I'm super passionate about this stuff because I know how crippled I was at various points, trying to get my gifts out into the world and just hitting this roadblock around selling myself. So I really hope it's landing. So give me a like or a comment. Let me know how this is landing for you because I want to make sure that I'm not just going off on a passionate rant. Okay. Cool. So understand needs. Well, in the old story, the sales process was very kind of cold. It was like men in suits, and it was all very formal and professional and emotionless. Okay, good. It's making sense. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. And so what happened was in the old story, the marketing men, they gathered together. And I use that word. They're marketing men, women. They were the secretaries, right? We're talking old story here, right? So the marketing men would gather and they'd get a focus group together, which was, hey, we've got this idea for a product. Let's gather a group of people who we think would be interested and ask them, what they think about this, right? So Carl is struggling with Wi-Fi in the hills. Here's the thing. It's pretty impressive, technologically, that you can tune in to this session to gather in our circle when you're, 200 kilometers into some kind of crazy pilgrimage. So, Carl, big up for being on the session at all, brother. So they gather these focus groups, and from that, they try and get a sense of whether this product was going to be successful. So they'd essentially be guessing, right? That was the approach to understanding needs in the old story, was guessing. And they guess, and then they get a really big megaphone and be like, come and buy our stuff. Oh, and by the way, you're really worthless and you should be very afraid, and that's the reason why you need to buy our stuff. Okay, that was the process of understanding needs in the old story. You know what the process of understanding needs in the new story is? It's super complex. Get ready with a pen and paper, calculator maybe as well. You're gonna super complex. The process for understanding what your supporters need in the new story is asking them. Told you it was pretty complex, right? You just ask. You say, listen, it's amazing to have connected with you. What's going on for you now? How can I help? Okay. In fact, how can I help? Those 4 words will change the world. Absolutely, no questions about it. And in this invitation to come and be a part of this creative ignition journey, a part of our movement, in that invitation, what was at the end? 3 questions where I said, guys, where are you at with your gift at the moment? What are your big challenges? And, what hasn't worked? So I'm trying to get a sense of how can I really serve these guys? And as a result, the 3 videos I shared with you to add value were not the 3 videos that I had planned. I responded to what you guys said you needed. Okay. So that is, really, really simple, right? But here's the thing, so many people are like, I couldn't ask. It makes me seem vulnerable. It makes me seem like I don't know what I'm doing. No. You know what it does? It makes you seem like you're doing the 4th part of the source. And let's get into that, shall we? So, stories, add value, understand the needs of your supporters, okay? And the 4th element, SAUC, is care. It sounds so simple, right? It sounds so, listen, I'm not trying to infantilize you or anything, because so often in the old story, it's not, you're simply a number. It's like, have you bought this thing? No, cool. Well, in that case, let's target this advert at you, right? Rather than actually going, hey, here is a human being. And before I even worry about whether I've got anything to sell, let me find out what this human being needs and let me care. Let me be a source of love in the world for this human being, for what this human being needs, okay? And that is what the essence of caring is. Who does that in business? It's rare, even now, okay? So, okay, is that such a word? What word did I make up? Shakespeare made up hundreds of words. So, I think we're allowed 1 together, guys. But let me kind of go into this a bit more, right? A lot of people talk about how do you create rapport with your potential customers, with your supporters, and they talk about, hey, using the same body language, kind of like mirroring and matching, using the same tone of voice. And look, that's cool. It can have real power. Don't get me wrong, it can have real power, especially when I used to work with some of the young people. I'll kind of go over here a bit so you can see. Say there was a young person sat in this chair here, and they were, not in a great space. What I would do is I'd go over and I'd be like, what's going on? And you will be amazed, just that change in my body position. Suddenly, we're on an equal footing, and what I'm conveying is, I've got absolute respect and I care for you right now. So I'm not saying the whole body language thing isn't important. It can be a very, very, useful tool. However, it definitely should not be your first tool, because if you genuinely care, if you genuinely give a shit, it is the ultimate rapport hack, okay? Because we, human beings, we are just incredible, organisms, okay? Yeah, so absolutely. And Bex, I'll be honest, I haven't read How to Win Friends and Influence People, but I have a sense it's probably a genuine, in the same way that 7 Habits of Highly Effective People it's about the deep core stuff. It's not about the kind of fancy frills and tricks. Okay, so I'm guessing that must be the case, and that's why caring is so. It is literally, you go, hey, I care about you. How can I help? You don't even have to say those words, but you can intend it. You can be saying to yourself, please, right now, let me care for this person. Let me do anything I can to serve them, to help them. Okay. And here's what happens. Here's what happens if you can genuinely care. The sale takes care of itself, because that person is probably asking, can I trust this person? Can I like them? okay. It is a revolutionary thing, especially as we transition from the old story. It freaks people out. You know, I get people asking me, and this isn't to blow my own trumpet, because I still have so much to learn about how to care. But I still get people going, like, where did you come from? What is wrong with you? Literally, what is wrong with you? And, you know, like Harry, some of the other guys, like my brother Dylan, who's doing it. All of us, we get asked, you know, where have you come from? Like, what's good? Like, people just don't get that they're freaked out by people who genuinely care. They think there's a trick or a catch. And the only way of solving that is just to care more. Okay, because when you focus on caring, the sale's going to take care of itself, because they're going to be like, right, I trust this person, yeah, I'm in. They may not do it immediately, but they're going to remember, I had an experience of genuine caring from George, or from Bex, or from Michelle, or from Sophia, okay, from Cameron. So cool. So care. So stories add value, understand their needs, and combining that with care, super powerful. And the final element, E of source, is exceed expectations. Exceed expectations. Okay. And you know, that may seem obvious, but again, it used to be the case very much in the old story. Here's our product, and if it breaks down, we'll do everything we can to get out of giving you a refund. Okay. Which is why companies like Zappos and stuff do so amazingly, because it's like, if you don't like it, you just send the thing back. You know, and here's the thing, when you first sign up to Zappos, you don't even know about half of the stuff they do. But, you know, you go, oh, wow, man, I've never expected this. And, you know, it's a transformative experience from a sales perspective when I, as a buyer, have my expectations exceeded. Okay. And I promised a very kind of important announcement in this session. So here it is. And, you know, I've literally only decided to do this in the last week. Which is that if you would like, I would like to add some more sessions onto the end of this journey. I've identified another kind of probably 10 modules that I could do around confidence building. Okay, so if confidence is something you have challenges with, then my offering is that I would be very willing to deliver another 10 modules that go a bit deeper into the process of how to build confidence, because of course it is a skill. Okay, so that is one way that I hope, you know, like I said, I wasn't planning on doing this, but it's come up. So you know, that's my offering. Okay, and I hope that with it, even though it's not my kind of, it hasn't been my kind of manipulative intent, you know, I'd love to kind of get a sense that I'm exceeding your expectations, because you know, that's what it's all about. Is if I can give you a model for exceeding expectations, I know you will find it much easier to go out and do it, and therefore wow the people you serve and serve the world in an even more powerful way. Okay, so let me just kind of come back to that. So that is the offer. It probably, what I won't do them like 9 till 10, because in truth, you like fan has exceeded. When we talk about exceeding expectations, the fact that I'm here with you now means that fan is exceeding expectations of what is required as a mother. Okay, so fan is genuinely supporting you guys to kind of be in circle together with us. So I need to make sure that, you know, coming forward, I work with her and support her, because for the last 30 days she's been fully on it. So we'll probably do it either I'll do like lunchtime sessions, so if you are working you can tune in during lunch break, or I might do it super early in the morning, so you can tune in then. But of course there will still be there, all the recordings will be there as well. So that's my offer on the confidence thing, because I just got to get a sense, it's kind of, you know, to go a bit deeper for that would be useful for some of you guys. So that's the offering. So exceeding expectations, here's the truth, it will cost you more. It will cost you more either in effort, energy, time, money, resources. But I'm here to tell you that it is one of the best investments you can ever make, because it will turn customers into supporters, and it will turn supporters into marketers, into people who go out and share what you're doing with the world. Okay, and you know, it's the thing that will give people a wow experience. It's the thing that will get people's tongues wagging, going, mate, we were meant to just be doing this, but actually we're doing that, and we're going to be doing this as well. It's like amazing. Like, that you can get that kind of reaction, then you know that whatever you invested is going to pay you back many, 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 many times over. Okay. Yeah, that's, I think that's a lot. And, yeah, I hope that in this journey we've been on, I hope I've modeled those things for you. It's because it sounds so simple, but I hope you can see now that we've broken it down. And I said, look, this is at this point with the stories, I was telling a bit of my story. I was adding value with the videos. I was trying to understand your needs with the questions. I hope I was showing that I cared by offering myself, saying, look, give me a call. I'm here on the phone. So I hope I've modeled that for you guys. The invitation really is to think, how can you start to bring some of these elements into what you do? What is a story you can share that conveys the power of why you do what you do and conveys the power of it as well? Okay. Something as simple as that can change immediately how you connect with people. And I hope you can also see, for those who did get a chance to catch up with last night's session, why your pitch is so important, because essentially your pitch can bring all of these elements into it, and it's a really elegant way of using that source and really connecting and serving and finding out how you can take things further. Okay, so cool. That's everything, guys. Has anyone got some questions? I'm going to just kind of scoot over, have a look at some of the comments. I'm going to check the hub comments as well. Yeah, any kind of questions on anything we've explored? Anything you'd like to kind of ask about for the confidence sessions? Anything that you really need to make sure gets covered? Sorry if I'm at some kind of weird angle, but yeah, the old gaffer tape. I don't want to push it too much. Oh, amazing, Cam! What a wonderful example, right? So Cam, even though his old academy players have now they've grown too old to stay on the sessions, Cam still goes and watches them in their club games, like their adult club games at the weekend. That's amazing. That's beautiful. And who also used to do that, Cam? Who had an encyclopedic knowledge of his former pupils, his former players? Guy by the name of Alex Ferguson. He would, remember the family names of every player who went through his academy. If he saw them years later, he'd be like, hey, Chris, or whatever the guy's name is, how's your family? So really, really great example of exceeding expectations. Nice, Cam, love it. And showing you care as well. Yes, Bex, absolutely. I can send you my mum's Airbnb link. Absolutely. Fantastic, wonderful. Sinead, that's amazing to hear you've been writing songs about these sessions. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Oh, I think I'm still here with video. Nice, so Sinead, great. It's always an energy exchange around the payment stuff. So yeah, good. Yeah, guys, if any of you who haven't contributed yet, who haven't paid what you feel this is worth, then the invitation is definitely there to do that, because it is a way of exchanging energies and really continuing to build things. Okay, so that invitation is definitely there. Let me just check the hub. Edwin, fantastic. So Edwin, if you are still watching on the hub, brilliant to have you. Can't wait to kind of serve you with some of those confidence sessions. And glad you really enjoyed last night's session. Pitch is super powerful, right? So brilliant, absolute pleasure to have you with us, brother. And Edwin, of course, you know brother Dylan as well, and the level of his caring as well. It freaks people out, right? People are like, what? Where has this guy come from? What planet's he on? Brilliant, Bex. No worries, fantastic. I trust that will happen as and when it needs to. But at the same time, it is about asking for what you need as well. So, whoa, there we go. Ooh, where's that gone? Come back, camera. We're back. We're gone. We're back. Come on, don't mess me around. Okay. We may have to bring the session to a close, because my phone seems to be just the gaffer tape is like that means it's melting, by the way, for those who are not familiar with my particular type of sign language. So guys, any further questions, do hit me up. Anything you're like, hey, I'd love to cover this in the confidence sessions. This has been a thing for me. Really let me know about that so that I can work them into the sessions as well. Okay. guys, absolute pleasure. Bex, I'll let you know about my mum's D&B. It's wonderful. And I cannot wait. So tomorrow I'm going to be coming to you live from Scotland, all being well, where I'm seeing a brother of mine who makes this amazing kind of jewelry. He's getting married, his absolute brother. And yeah, just totally wonderful to be with you all. Bex, I may well take you up on that. Yes, one final thing before you all kind of dive off. So in addition to kind of the confidence sessions, the next thing is going to be taking this creative ignition kind of journey to the wider world. Let's serve a wider community. Let's build this movement towards, you know, groups and communities. So, you know, if you would like to be involved in, you know, having a say in how we build the movement, how we actually start to, getting a bit emotional about it, how we start to bring this new story to life for our friends, our family, our communities, I'd really love to kind of put together a core team who can help kind of take things forward. And I know Michelle's working on something amazing around kind of crowdsourced marketing. I know Bex is an amazing graphic designer. You know, Sinead, Luke, Clint, doing amazing things with music. So, you know, there's no pressure, there's no compulsion. But if it's something that you would be like, hey, I'd love to explore this, I'd really welcome, you know, gathering a kind of, whether it's on a Skype or gathering in person, to do that. So, yeah, that would be wonderful. You guys are wonderful. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a part of this journey. And I can't wait to be with you tomorrow, where tomorrow we're going to look at two things. One is some questions you might have on the tech side of things, okay? So that we can kind of, you know, so that that's not a blockage. And also looking at, in addition to exceeding expectations as being a really outstanding investment, what are some of the other investments you can make in yourself so that the value of your gifts, the reach, your impact, your influence, your income can all grow as you'd like them to, okay? So, guys, I really look forward to sharing that with you, and have a blessed rest of the evening. Go well, and I will see you tomorrow.